Hello and welcome to another podcast episode. I have been incredibly busy. I kind of want to give a little life update and a sort of story of something that's happened over the week. And school, I've been incredibly busy. We'll get back to that, but I just want to announce that I'm back to video podcasts. I want to do more of capturing the visual aspect of podcasting because I'm getting a lot of cool words and the kind of stuff that I'm saying that I want to share through reels and stuff just to try and grow the podcast a little bit. So if you want to watch it, I think on Spotify you can watch video podcasts, and also I've got the Tell the Story podcast up on YouTube, so you can go check that out. Or on Instagram, wherever, or just stay where you are. If you're comfortable, just do that. I'm just trying to add a little bit more professional status to my podcast. So yeah. With school, been super busy. We started production on the TV show that we're working on, and it has been all over the place. We're filming like every day for hours a day and filming so much footage, and there's a lot to keep track of. But I'm enjoying it a lot, and I'm learning so much so quickly because there's a lot of stuff going wrong. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going great, and I'm loving it. And so this episode, I wanted to talk about the Holy Spirit. And with everything that's going on, it's been hard to live for Jesus in this kind of time. I know it throughout my life, I say that I'm a Christian, but I feel like to be a true, or to be a Christian is to live for Jesus and not for yourself. And I feel like I haven't been doing that lately. But every time I'm in worship or singing and just experiencing the Holy Spirit, that's when I feel like I am a Christian. So I thought, and I've been thinking, why can't I feel like I'm a Christian all the time? Why can't I feel the Holy Spirit all the time? And I think I've discovered that. And so I want to talk about it. To get more into this story that I'm trying to tell, I don't want to start preaching about the Holy Spirit because I don't know much about what it is. I just want to tell my story and what I've experienced and how and when I've experienced the Holy Spirit. And so to go back a little bit, with the church that I'm at, they do a lot of amazing services, and every Sunday I go for the worship mainly. The talk is always just that added bonus for me, but the worship is where I feel most alive. And a while ago, went to a youth weekender where we were just at this event place with all of the youth from my church from Friday till Sunday, and we worshiped. And there was a thing that we talked about on kind of what kind of Christian we are, and there was like 6 different definitions or like examples, and there was worship, there was creation, there was serving, there was relational, there was contemplative, and one more. That's going to annoy me. One of you watching probably was there and know. So, yeah. And I was going through them. There was like a checklist to figure out which one you were. And I came up as my highest was worship and creation, which is kind of awesome because that's what I want to end up doing with kind of the videos that I make and these podcasts is like, I'm in love with the world and how it looks. Sunsets get me. Sunsets are the most amazing thing that you get to see every day, unless it's not a great day for it weather-wise. But worship as well was my highest, and just in the stage of worship, when playing music, I feel like there's nothing else matters in the world except for that song that I'm singing my heart out to. Nothing else matters. Whatever happened before and whatever happens after is just not there. And that's kind of a really fun way or place to be in. Every time I'm there, I don't want to leave. Every time I'm in a space of worship, I just don't want to go. I don't want to go back to what is going to happen with school and in life. But I know that I have to get there sometime. Okay. So, going back to last Friday, so I record all these podcasts a bit, well, before they come out, obviously. And so Friday night, there was this event at my church for youth. And I didn't think much about it at all. I thought a lot about not going, but I just felt like it's going to be a night to worship, and I'm going to go for the worship. And I went, and it was not what I expected in a great way. I loved it so much. And the thing with kind of the schedule and the way church is done every Sunday, there's a schedule and there's a routine, there's a time that we have to stick by. And I feel like that limits amazing experiences with God. And I feel like giving all of your time and not having to worry about where you have to be can result in amazing experiences. And so with that night, I don't feel like there was a set time where we had to be finished. And that's what let the worship go on and on and on. And it was amazing. So I want to talk about kind of a moment that I had on Friday, because I was in a space for like 30 minutes straight that I've never been in before. And it was just like I wasn't in my body anymore. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it feels like I wasn't in control, and I was it was just I don't know what to say. I was speechless. Afterwards, I didn't know how to explain or describe, and I still don't. But we started off with worship, and it was amazing. And I was kind of standing there, kind of like, Jesus, show yourself, kind of take over. And boy, he did. 2 songs in, I was sitting down with my hands out, worshiping. And then I started to get pins and needles. I started to shake a little bit. My hands were shaking a little bit. And kind of like when your leg goes to sleep and you get those pins and needles, that happened throughout my entire body. And then worship was over, the music was over, and then the speakers started to come up. Everyone was at their seats, but I was sat down there and I couldn't move. I literally had pins and needles throughout my arms. My arms were like my hands were kind of like this. Like my fingers were kind of scrunched together. It was absolutely crazy. And I kind of like in my mind, I kind of just tried to clear my mind. I didn't want to leave in that space because something was happening within me, and it was out of this world, and I can't keep that to myself. But like, it was amazing. Everything was happening around me. I could hear the preacher speaking. There were a couple hands on my shoulders and my back, and just with people praying with me. And everything that the speaker was saying exactly related to kind of the moment in time that I was in, where I didn't feel a real Christian. I didn't feel like I deserved Jesus because of who I am, being a human and sinning and not being perfect. I didn't feel like I deserved it. But that night, just in that space, I just felt the most powerful love, that I wasn't alone in kind of feeling like that, and I didn't need to worry about anything. I sat there for like, it was 30 whole minutes. The talk, every time he said something, I felt it. Like it exactly like God was speaking to me, and it was like nothing I've ever experienced, and it is like just a marker in my life that I want to remember. Okay, so I'm thinking in my head now little things and little details that I want to just go back to. Before it all started, I put my hands on the ground like I was trying to ground myself because I started to not feel anything. And then my breathing started going really quick. I started breathing really quick, really quick. And that's kind of the state that I stayed in for the next 30 minutes of feeling pins and needles in my hands especially, and just throughout my entire body with deep, heavy breathing. It was an amazing, crazy feeling. And then so when this speaker started to wrap up with like the keys and the drums started going and like worship was coming back, people started crowding and getting up to the front to continue to worship, and then just slowly I started getting feeling again and kind of like feeling in that moment. It was kind of like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, I don't know, I lost utter track of time. It could have been hours of being in that state, but I started to get the words in my head of like, now go, like get up and go. I feel like I needed the kind of sign from God that it's in me, but I need to not keep it to myself. And that's what I'm doing with the podcast, kind of saying stuff that I think about and I need to share. And with this, it was very much the same, where I was kind of in this state with God and not on this earth, and just feeling that utter love and like throwing my worries away. That feeling of starting to feeling again and starting to come back to this world was kind of like, now go. It was like, I don't know how to much explain it off of that. It was just go. Don't be the same, and I don't think I can be the same. I was thinking about something before starting this. These are just thoughts. That with this podcast, I've looked back at kind of big moments in my life, and I'm thinking a lot about that. Moments in my life where they've turning points in my life that have been really what's shaped me, like moving countries and fitting in and making friends and all of those big things that have made me who I am today. I was just thinking about how that night was another one of those things, and it happened so recently, and I didn't think about something like that happening recently, or like something new that can utterly change my life. But man, that was something that's I'll never ever forget, and I'm so thankful for. But like on how to feel now, like from that go into everyday life, it's not the same as it was. Like kind of how I act and kind of how I feel. I was having the worries beforehand on not feeling like a Christian, and that night changed me. And I feel like now I have more control over my actions. And that's what I've been searching for this entire year so far. I have more control over telling myself not to do certain things and telling myself to do things I'm putting off. That kind of what I've been learning on how to be productive and be the best version of myself. Because of that night, I kind of unlocked something in my head that gives me self-control. That's the word. Gives me the control over quick actions that my brain just makes on like I'll buy some candy today. I'll eat McDonald's for lunch today. I'll I don't know, not film a podcast right now. Stuff like that will make me feel great, but then in the long run obviously not turn out so well. And so I feel like I've unlocked a way to tell myself off, but yet still feel great about who I am and what I'm choosing to do in a way. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've been thinking about. And there's loads, and I need to record another episode because I'm going to Zambia on Monday, which is crazy, and I'm so excited. And I got to record an episode around about now because I won't be able to while I'm there and then when I'm back. So got to think about something to do for that. And there's just a lot going on, and I just needed to share that story. And I don't know, I've been putting it off quite a bit, but I'm very thankful for you guys listening and watching. I don't want to end it, but I can't think of anything to talk about right now. I kind of hate, I have these great like thoughts and awesome moments that I just want to chat about, and I want them to be like reasonable length. I feel like they're getting shorter, but I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling about whatever. But yeah, that's what I wanted to give to you guys this week. I'm going to keep working hard to not miss a week and take control over my self-control to continue to make episodes. Yeah, I need to sit down one time and kind of... It's hard, though, because I'm always thinking of new ideas, and I was like, oh, that would be better. I could talk about this. I could talk about this. I could talk about... And then I just lose what I was thinking about. And yeah. It's all a little bit crazy, and there's a lot going on, as I said, at school and with home, so my schedule's all over the place, but I'm trying to maintain it, and I thank you guys so much for watching. For you guys that are still listening, it means the world to me, and if you wouldn't mind, just to do one little more thing is to go check me out on YouTube and actually get to see my face as I do this, because I feel like I'm trying to be very expressive with my hands and move around and spice it up a little bit. But yeah, I want to thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great week, and try to live a little bit more like Jesus. Because I feel like that's a weird way to end. Let me rephrase kind of explain what I mean. The more we live like Jesus, the more people that will start to acknowledge who you're like, and be like, you're great. Why? And then you explain, and then they become and start to know Jesus, and that's amazing, and we want more people to know. I'm working on that. Maybe that'll be next week's episode. We'll see. But have a great day, and see you next week. Goodbye.